What is going on, guys? Mike here with Chit Chat Gaming. So it is hard to believe that the Nintendo Switch is almost 6 years old. This coming March here, March the 3rd, it will officially be 6 years since the Nintendo Switch has launched, and man, what a journey it's been since day one here. This has definitely surpassed Nintendo Wii U, that's for dang sure. This here has just been a wonderful console to collect for. So many great games, so many great first party and so many great third party games have come out in that time, but it's definitely getting to be that time to where we start thinking, well, I know a lot of people have already been thinking about it, but for myself though, I've been thinking to myself, are we going to be getting a Nintendo Switch, like a new version, like a Pro? Everybody always says the Pro. I'm not sure if that's what it's going to be called or if we should even call it that, but I think we're about due for a new Nintendo Switch. Now, what I mean by this, of course, is, like I said, it's been 6 years. And the games are definitely getting better as we progress on here. I mean, there's a lot of games that are coming out for the Switch here that are currently even available for the Switch that I feel that could be better on a more graphically enhanced, something a little more powerful that could definitely handle those type of games. I'm talking about games like Resident Evil Village, which is a cloud-based game, but we wouldn't have to have it on the cloud. I mean, look at the GameCube, guys. The GameCube itself actually held up with the PlayStation 2 at the time. It was definitely on par with it. Some games I thought were even better on the GameCube, but a game like Resident Evil 4, ran on Nintendo Switch, and no worry about, no clouds, nothing like that back in the day. Everything was on a disc and so forth. But for me personally though, I feel like we could probably get out of some of the cloud gaming and kind of push into, the cartridge style gaming in here as well too, on a brand new Nintendo Switch. Or do we, move to disc-based games? We move to an actual Nintendo home console and kind of leave the Switch as like a 3DS. Allow the Switch to be a handheld, and then like the Nintendo Switch Lite. Or do we just go ahead and we create a home console? So that's kind of the question here I want to kind of talk about here today, because 2023 is looking to be definitely a great year for Nintendo Switch. There's a lot of great games coming out. Games like Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom's coming out here too. A lot of people had speculated whether or not that was going to be on the Nintendo Switch Pro, because it's definitely taken a while for it to come out, which I'm sure it's just kind of, still in progress and so forth here, still in development. But that is supposed to be coming out here this year as well. There's a lot of other great games, Pikmin 4, we got Kirby's Return to Dreamland. There's so many, Midnight Suns, which is a Marvel game as well here too. So many great games. I'm missing some, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go over all of them. Games like Metal Gear Tactics. There's just so many that's coming out for this upcoming year here. That's very, very big. Big titles anyways, a lot of people are talking about. But again though, there's a lot of games like Resident Evil Village and so forth that's going to be coming out here. A new Fatal Frame is coming out too. And it makes you wonder if, some of those games here definitely could use that new hardware as well too. I mean, I know we had to talk about Metroid Prime 4. It's supposed to be coming out at some point as well here too. But again though, like I said though, could you imagine, all those games, coming out on Nintendo Switch here? Imagine that though, because like I said, if you look back in time with the GameCube was the prime example I always go back to, because a lot of the third-party games that came out on the other consoles, like on PS2 and so forth, were coming out on Nintendo Switch or Nintendo GameCube anyways. And I would love personally to be able to see a lot of these third-party games. Yes, there's a lot of third-party games coming out at the same time, on Nintendo Switch they are for the other consoles. The games like Sonic Frontiers is a more recent one here as well too. But again though, you gotta stop and think, it's running at 30 frames per second typically compared to 60. Is that horrible? No, not always, because I can play a 30 FPS game, no problem. As long as it looks good, as long as it plays well, that's all that matters here. But however, with that being said though, there's a lot of games, like I said, that could definitely use that extra hardware. And I talked about this recently here, and I know a lot of people are going to say it's not about graphics. Pokemon's not about graphics, but taking a game like Pokemon, definitely I feel like could use that new hardware as well too, because Pokemon Violet Scarlet definitely was fun games. I'm having a great time with it. I'm not going to take anything away from that. But like I said though, actually could definitely use that new hardware, because there is some spots in there. It looks a little bit not too beautiful anyways, and some frame rate and stuff issues. So I think that definitely could help out big time. But again though, the main thing is like I'd love to see a lot of these third-party games coming out, be able to actually just come out hand in hand day one on Nintendo Switch here and be able to run. I know it's no secret that Nintendo has always been kind of behind as far as that goes anyways. Now the GameCube, they're definitely up to par like I mentioned. And the Wii U, or the Wii itself, was actually not that bad either here. But again, though, moving on forward, though, they've always kind of been a little bit behind in times. I mean, I've played lots of games on my Nintendo Switch here that have not really been, like I said, the most beautiful, graphically enhanced games, but they're a lot of fun. But like I said, there's not really the best looking games out there. And for me personally though, is that everything? No, not at all. But again, no, I'd still like to be able to see that on my Nintendo Switch. I'm just trying to think, for consumer wise and just for moving forward here, how great would it be to have all those, titles on a Nintendo Switch hardware? Because let's face it, that's kind of what Nintendo would love to do. Yes, they're in the first party market for the most part here. But imagine if everybody just had a Nintendo Switch. I mean, if you ask people what their main console is nowadays, it's usually the Xbox Series X or the PS5 or like even last gen here. You never ever hear anybody say, well, Nintendo Switch is my main console. I mean, yes, I do play this a lot, probably more than any of my other consoles. But again, no, it's not my, not my main console itself. I don't get to go buy games like the Callisto Protocol and so forth and be able to play it on my Nintendo Switch. But could you imagine if we were able to? Tables would turn, tides would turn. Would that mean that a lot more people would be going to Nintendo Switch full-time as their main console here? So that's kind of what I wanted to go ahead and discuss here today. That's all I really wanted to do on this video here. 2023 is looking to be a great year for video games here. There's lots of rumors going on already about people talking about the Nintendo Switch Pro coming out in 2023. But again, though, do I personally think that that'd be a great idea? 110%. I think it'd be a wonderful idea to bring a Nintendo Switch to the market that is able to actually be able to handle and power a lot of these games that are coming out. Not just the first party games, which I feel like Nintendo could definitely use for their advantage, but also third party games that can release on the same day as other consoles here and can definitely compete with the other two consoles. So I know it's going to bring up a big discussion, guys. I know a lot of people are like, well, the Nintendo's fine, the Switch is fine how it is. You're right, because on handheld mode it's going to kind of be like that, but I really honestly think that there's more that can be done. Yes, we've had a couple enhancements as far as like the Switch OLED. I mean, we had the Nintendo Switch Lite, but of course that wasn't really much of an enhancement. It was more geared towards the handheld mode, the handheld market, like the 3DS. But we had the Nintendo Switch OLED here, which of course didn't really do a whole lot for the actual console itself, other than make did a little bit of enhancements here, like on the kickstand and everything like that, and so forth. But as far as the actual console itself goes, all it really did was just create that OLED screen here, which is good for handheld mode. But as far as the dock mode and so forth and the power of the Switch, it didn't really do anything except for enhance the battery itself. So that's really about it. So let me know down below, guys, what you guys think here. I know a lot of people are very excited for 2023, Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Everybody is happy for that, but could you imagine that on a much more graphically enhanced, powered Nintendo Switch, guys? So again, let me know down below what you guys think here. Would you like to see a new Nintendo Switch in 2023? Something that's a little more graphically better to be able to handle a lot of these first-party games just a little bit better, as well as be able to compete with the third-party market as well here too. So again, make sure you guys sign off down below here. Make sure you guys like this video if you choose to. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on that bell notification to keep up with all things that is Chit Chat Gaming. And as always, guys, happy gaming.